Good morning to all. Welcome to another section of this online class. So today we will be beginning the new chapter from the module 2nd, which is the final speech in the movie The Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin. So this is a very interesting chapter which is based on a movie, The Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin, and basically this chapter is a form of speech by Charlie Chaplin in the film The Great Dictator, and we have to study what is a speech, basically it means, and today we will be dealing the just an introduction to this chapter and the details of this author and also the definitions of this speech and etc. So in the last class we discussed the chapter When I Was Growing Up by Nellie Wong, which is basically an autobiographical poem. So today we have a speech which is from a film by Charlie Chaplin, which is The Great Dictator. So first of all, we have to focus on the type of this chapter, which is a speech. So what is a speech? How we can define a speech? So we can see that simply the speech is a mode of spoken communication addressed to an audience. So it is a very simple definition to the speech, in which it is a mode of spoken communication addressed to an audience. Then the second point regarding the speech is that the content of the speech will be universal in nature, delivered in a rhetorical manner. So the content is based on the universal nature of the speech, and also the purpose of the speech is to inspire the audience and make them think. So the purpose of the speech, which is very important, in which the purpose of a speech is to inspire the audience and make them think. So these are the major points while we defining this speech. First of all, speech is a mode of spoken communication addressed to an audience. Then the second point was the content of the speech, which will be universal in nature, delivered in a rhetorical manner. The third point is that the purpose of the speech, which is to inspire the audience and make them think. And the fourth point regarding the speech is that the history of the speech. The history of the public speaking or the oration can be traced to the ancient Greeks, and the art of public speaking was considered to be an inevitable quality of politicians or people of the court during those days. So this is just an history of this specific speech, in which it can be traced from the ancient Greeks, and the art of public speaking was considered to be an inevitable quality of politicians or people of the court during those days. So this is the early forms of the speech, and it is traced from the ancient Greeks. Then the next point is that rhetorical style remained the main feature of oration during the Renaissance and the subsequent periods. So the style of the speech remained a main feature of oration, which means to orate, to speak, during the Renaissance period and the subsequent periods. So from this Renaissance periods onwards, the speech has a definite structure in its nature. Then the last point regarding speech is that other elements of a speech are tone and sound of the speaker, gestures and body language of the speaker, humor and vocabulary. So these are the other elements which can be cooperated with the speech, in which the tone and sound of the speaker, gestures and body language of the speaker, and also the humor and vocabulary. So this is regarding just an introduction to the topic speech, which our chapter is based on a speech. So first of all, the definition of speech is that the speech is a mode of spoken communication addressed to an audience. The second point was regarding the content of the speech, which will be universal in nature, delivered to a rhetorical manner. The third point was regarding the purpose of the speech, which is to inspire the audience and make them think. So, and some historical and some other elements of this speech also we discussed today. So this is regarding the speech, which is the main content of this chapter, which is final speech in the movie The Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin. Now we are moving to the introduction to this author, who is Charlie Chaplin. So regarding the author, who is Charlie Chaplin, his full name was Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin, and his lifespan was between 1889 to 1977, and he was an English comic actor, filmmaker and composer who rose to fame in the era of the silent film, which is regarded as the first early stage of the films. And he is basically a comic actor and also filmmaker and composer who rose to fame in the era of the silent film. And Chaplin became a worldwide icon through his screen persona, which is the tramp. So the tramp was one of the major work by Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin, and he is considered one of the most important figures in the history of the film industry. So we all are familiar with the author who is Charles Chaplin. We also saw some films of this Charlie Chaplin in our class, which I think it is the Kid by Charlie Chaplin, some funny parts of that. So basically Charlie Chaplin was the comic actor, and also he was the filmmaker and composer who rose to fame in the era of silent film. So this is the first point that we have to focus on while studying this details of this author. And then he is considered as one of the most important figures in the history of the film industry. Then his career spanned more than 75 years, from childhood in the Victorian era until a year before his death in 1977. So his career was in between 1889 to 1977, and the 75 years, more than 75 years, is regarded as his major career. The span of this major career was up to 75 years, from his childhood in the Victorian era until the year before his death in 1977. Then Chaplin wrote, directed, produced, edited, starred in and composed the music of most of his films. So basically most of his films were wrote and directed, produced, edited, starred in and composed the music of all details regarding this film, or everything was written and directed by Chaplin itself, basically most of his films. So it is very important thing while we focusing on this author. He was a perfectionist, and his financial independence enabled him to spend years on the development and production of a picture. So basically he was an filmmaker, producer, and he also implemented several development and several advancement in the field of film from the late of the 1890s to the 20th century, which up to the 1977. So this is regarding some major things, details of this author Charlie Chaplin. His films are characterized by slapstick combined with the pathos, typified in the tramp's struggles against adversity. So this is the basics of his films, in which his films were focused or characterized by slapstick combined with the pathos, typified in the tramp's struggles against adversity. So most of his films were against the adversity, and also it combined with the pathos. So this is regarding his about his films. It is a common thing about his films. Many contain social and political themes as well as autobiographical elements. So most of his films were basically contained the social and political themes, and also some of his films were basically the autobiographical elements. So this is regarding his major films, in which some films were give some important thing regarding the pathos and the adversity of the adverse nature of that age, and also some of his films were basically the social and political themes, based on social and political themes, and also some of his films were autobiographical in nature. And in 1972, as part of the renowned appreciation of his work, Chaplin received an Honorary Academy Award. So this is regarding his major award, which is the Honorary Academy Award in 1972, and he continues to be held in high regard with the Gold Rush, City Lights, Modern Times, and The Great Dictator, often ranked on industry lists of the greatest films of all times. So all these films that I mentioned earlier is regarded as the major or the greatest films of all time, which includes this chapter also, which is based on the film The Great Dictator by Chaplin, and also some familiar films which includes the Modern Times that we may say, so the film The Modern Times, and The Golden Rush, City Lights, and The Great Dictator. So these are the major films which gained fame for this particular author, who is Charlie Chaplin. So this is regarding his major productions, major works, major awards, which includes the first major award, which is the Honorary Academy Award in 1972, and his some topics of his films based on his films. So in the next page number 765, Chaplin received the many awards and honors, especially later in life. So many awards were got or he won after his life. And in the 1975, the New Year honors, he was appointed a Knight Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. So it is another honor for Charlie Chaplin, which is the Knight Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. So this is regarding another important award or the honor to Charlie Chaplin, and he was also awarded the Honorary Doctor of Letters degree by the University of Oxford and the University of Durham in 1962. So he also awarded the awards from the honored from the awards from the universities like Oxford and the University of Durham. So it is basically the Honorary Doctor of Letters degree by the University of Oxford. Then in 1965, after receiving this award, he and Ingmar Bergman were joint winners of the Erasmus Prize, and in 1971 he was appointed a commander of the National Order of the Legion of Honor by the French government. So following this letters award, Doctor of Letter degree award from the University of Oxford, in 1965, along with Ingmar Bergman were joint winners of the Erasmus Prize, and in 1971 he was appointed as the commander of the National Order of the Legion of Honor by the French government. So these are some major honors and awards for Chaplin after his death, after 1975. So from the film industry, Chaplin received a special Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival in 1972. So based on his films, he got a special prize, which is the Golden Lion Award, which is at the Venice Film Festival in 1972, and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Lincoln Center Film Society at the same year. So in 1972 he got two major awards based on his films, which is first one, which was the Golden Lion Award from the Venice Film Festival in 1972, and at the same year he also won the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Lincoln Center Film Society in 1972 itself. So these are the major awards or the based on his films. Then later he has since been presented annually for filmmakers as the Chaplin Award, and also Chaplin was given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1972, having been previously excluded because of his political beliefs. So the Chaplin Awards, which is regarded as the filmmakers, the award by the filmmakers, it is also in the name of this author, who is Charlie Chaplin, and Chaplin was given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1972. So he was the major star or major person while we discussing the film industry or the film based studies. during the 1970s, and he is regarded as the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1972, having been previously excluded because of his political beliefs. So before getting this award, or before getting this honor in 1972, he was excluded because of his political beliefs. So in 1972, he became a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So these are the major awards and honors for Charlie Chaplin. So these are the major awards and honors based on his films and works. So now we are going to discuss about his Academy Awards. So Charlie Chaplin received the 3 major Academy Awards, which is as follows: an honorary award for the versatility and genius in acting, writing, directing, and producing The Circus, which is another film by Chaplin in 1929, and a second honorary award for the incalculable effect he has had in making motion pictures, the art form of this century, in 1972, and also the last one was the Best Score Award in 1973 for Limelight. It was shared with Rash and Larry Russell. So these are the major Academy Awards for Sir Charlie Chaplin, and basically these awards were based on the academic, which means that his capability to act, write, direct, and produce the films in a very good manner, and most of his films were very successful during that time, and mainly some films were categorized as in the humor genre or the comedy films. So basically all these films were greatest of all times. So this is regarding the major Academy Awards of Charlie Chaplin, and he was further nominated in the Best Actor, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Picture as the producer categories for this film, which is we are going to study, which is The Great Dictator, and received another Best Original Screenplay nomination for the Monsieur Verdots, which is another film by Charlie Chaplin. So basically he was nominated for the Best Actor and Best Original Screenplay and Best Picture, which means the Best Producer for this, especially for this film, which is The Great Dictator. Then also he won the another award, which is Best Original Screenplay nomination for the Monsieur Verdots, which is another film by Charlie Chaplin. And in 1976, Chaplin was made a Fellow of the British Academy of Film and Television Awards, Arts, which is BAFTA, which is regarded as the another important honor for Charlie Chaplin, which is British Academy of Film and Television Arts. He was regarded as in 1976, Chaplin was made a Fellow of the this BAFTA, which is also a major honor to our author, who is Charlie Chaplin. So these are the major Academy Award and another the major awards for the Charlie Chaplin in his career. Then 6 of his Chaplin's films has been selected for preservation in the National Film Registry by the United States Library of Congress, and which includes The Immigrant in 1917, The Kid in 1921, The Gold Rush in 1925, City Lights in 1931, The Modern Times in 1936, and The Great Dictator in 1940. So these are the major films of Charlie Chaplin, in which these 6 films were selected for the preservation in the National Film Registry by the US Library of Congress. And these films are, I repeat, The Immigrant in 1917, The Kid in 1921, The Gold Rush in 1925, City Lights in 1931, Modern Times in 1936, and The Great Dictator in 1940. So these are the major films by Charlie Chaplin, and most of his films were gained many popularity and famous later. So the Great Dictator, which is that we are going to focus on this chapter, a speech from this Great Dictator. It is a 1940 American political satire comedy drama film written, directed, produced, scored by the starring British comedian Charlie Chaplin. So this film, which is the Great Dictator, can be regarded as a film which is an American political satire comedy drama film. So this is based on the American political satire, and the genre of the type of this film is the comedy drama, comic type of film, and it was written, directed, produced, scored by the starring British comedian who is Charlie Chaplin. So all the works for this film was done by Charlie Chaplin itself. He wrote this film, directed and produced and scored by the starring. So he was also the actor in this film. So this is regarding this film, The Great Dictator, and it is basically a political satire. And The Great Dictator was a political satire condemning Hitler, Mussolini, the Nazis, and the anti-Semitism. And it was Chaplin's first full sound production and was nominated for the 5 Academy Awards. So this film can be regarded as the first or the major first full sound production during that time. So before all this all the times, the film were included some forms of silence and some forms of sound, and this film, which is the Great Dictator, is full sound production, which is regarded first Chaplin's first full sound production, and was nominated for the 5 Academy Awards. And the film tells the story of a Jewish barber who actor Chaplin itself, who is mistaken for a dictator he resembles and is asked to take his place. At the film's conclusion, he rejects his position as emperor and gives an impassioned speech that has become one of the most famous in film industry. So at the end of the film, there is a speech. So this speech is the basics of this chapter, and this film is this speech is regarded as the most famous in the speech in the field of film industry, and it provides an excellent roadmap of how a citizen can conquer the issues that divide him and how a selfless leader views in the world. So this is regarding the this speech by Charlie Chaplin at the end of this film, which is The Great Dictator. So this is regarding the just an outline to this film. And about this film, The Great Dictator, it is regarded as a non-silent film by Chaplin, and it is a political satire condemning Hitler and the fascist regime in Germany during the World War II. So the basics of this film was basically a political satire, and it is condemning the Hitler and the fascist regime in Germany during the World War II. And the given text, which is we are going to study today, the chapter which is the final speech in the movie The Great Dictator, it is an edited version of the speech delivered by Chaplin's character at the end of this film, which is The Great Dictator. And in the film, he played the dual role. So the dual role means as Arnold Henkel as the Great Dictator and the ruler of Romania. So this was one of the major character in this film. And second character done by Chaplin was the Jewish barber, whose shop has become a part of the ghetto during the time of the war. So this is the just an concept or just an introduction to this film, in which Chaplin played a dual role in this film as Arnold Henkel, a great dictator of and the ruler of Romania, and also as a Jewish barber whose shop has become the part of the ghetto. Ghetto means slum during the time of the war, which is basically the World War II in the world. So this is regarding the major concepts of this film, and satirizing on the similarity and appearance between Chaplin's character and Hitler. The film explicitly criticizes Hitler and his Nazi regime between Chaplin's character with the help of this Chaplin character, and with the help of this for the violence committed against the Jews. So basically this film just signifies the violence committed against the Jews by the Hitler and the Nazi regime. And the speech argues the humanity to unite and fight for peace and justice for everyone, regardless of color, race and gender. So this film also is based on the racism, humanity, and this speech argues with the help of this speech, or by speaking this speech by Charlie Chaplin, he argues all the humanity to unite and fight for the peace and justice for everyone, regardless of color, race and gender. And the speech also emphasized the power of democracy in safeguarding the rights of the oppressed. So this is regarding the major things regarding this film, this chapter, which is the speech by the Charlie Chaplin in the film The Great Dictator. Now we are going to just get and discuss the outline of this chapter, which is the final speech by Charlie Chaplin in the film The Great Dictator. And this chapter, which is the Chaplin speech, is addressed to the soldiers in the film, and he begins his speech by saying the crowd that he does not want to become an emperor or conqueror anywhere, and but to help people. And human beings by nature want to live by each other's happiness, not by suffering or detest. So regarding this film or this speech, particularly this speech, this is addressed to the soldiers in the film. So the speech is addressed to a group of soldiers, and he begins his speech by saying that the crowd that he does not want to become an emperor or conqueror anyone, but to help people. So the intention of his life, or his especially this speech, was to help others, and human beings by nature want to live by each other's happiness. So it is very important fact regarding everyone's life, and he emphasized the ability of humanity to live in harmony regardless of color, race and gender. So he emphasized in this speech that ability to humanity to live in harmony. Harmony means unity regardless of color, race and gender. So according to his ideology, or according to his idea, he says that there will not be any other divisions based on the color, race and gender. Everyone should be unite, or the human should be in a state of harmony, and there will not be any division based on this color, race and gender. And he then talks about now greed has destroyed human souls and divided the world with hate. Technology should have brought human beings closer. Instead, human beings are more segregated. The society has become more mechanic and lost of capacity to feel. So this is the one of the major drawback of this advancement in the human life, in which the technology should have brought human beings closer. It is very good thing regarding the technology, development of technology, and instead it also has a drawback in which the human beings are more segregated, and also the society has become more mechanic and lost of the capacity to feel. So the feelings, the emotions and also the entire life became in a state of mechanic, and there is no value for the emotions and the feelings, especially while focusing on the human life during the World War II. So all the people, all the society regarded their life as something like a mechanic. So instead the human beings are more segregated. The society has become more mechanic and lost of the capacity to feel, and the need of the hour is to become humane and have kindness and gentleness, without which the society will perish. And he addresses the entire sections of people who are suffering, so and asks them to not to despair. So this speech was addressed to a group of soldiers, and also he with the help of this speech he says that the entire sections of people who are suffering, and the focus was on these suffering peoples, and he commands them to not to despair. So this is just an important thing while speaking a public speech, in which he concludes, or he addresses the speech, the audience, in which the people who are suffering during that time, especially the World War II, and asks them to say no to despair, and the present situation will change, the peace will be restored, and when people fight collectively against the forces that divides them. So regarding this situation, that situation was basically the situation during the World War II, and he gives some hope to this group of people who is the audience of during this while delivering this speech, and his hope was regarding the situation, the pathetic situation during that time, and he hopes that this situation will change and peace will be restored, and people fight collectively against the forces that divides them. So it is very important in order to fight against the forces that divides them, and he says that the situation will change and the peace will be restored, and the people will be available to fight against these forces that divides them. So this is regarding the just an outline of the introduction to the speech of Charlie Chaplin in the film The Great Dictator. In the second part of this chapter, or in this speech, he asserts the strength of democracy and the belief in collective strength of the people. So this is very important while delivering a public speech, especially for the soldiers. They get a potential to fight back against their enemies. So here the Chaplin gives a clear idea regarding their intention, in which the strength of democracy and also the belief in collective strength of the people. So it is a very important thing to get some types of confidence while going to a particular war, or fighting against a particular war. So this is regarding the some important instructions by Chaplin. Following this, he asked the soldiers to use their reason before blindly following any regime that dictates them. So ഇവിടെ reason എന്ന വാക്കുകൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത് യുക്തി എന്നൊരു ടേമാണ്. സോ ഇവിടെ ചാപ്ലിൻ സോൾജേഴ്സിനോട് കൂടുതലായിട്ട് ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ഷൻസ് കൊടുക്കുന്ന ഒരു അവസ്ഥയാണ് അവിടെ പറയുന്നത്. ബിഫോർ ബ്ലൈൻഡ്ലി ഫോളോയിങ് എനി regime that dictates them, and he reminds them they are not the machines, but human beings who can love and have the power to think and act. So this is a very important message or important instruction to the soldiers, in which they are not all the people are not machines, and especially the soldiers are not like machines, but human beings, and they can love, and also they have the power to think and act. So with the help of these possibilities, and with the help of their own reason, which means the particular decision to decide what is wrong or what is correct, so with the help of this they can decide to who can love, and how they can give the power to think and act. So they are capable of doing anything while in this pathetic situation, especially during the World War II. So Chaplin gives a certain types of measures or instructions to the soldiers in order to give them a kind of confidence to fight back against the enemies, and therefore instead of blindly surrendering to slavery, they should fight for liberty and justice. So this is another important command by Chaplin in this speech, in which instead of blindly surrendering to slavery, which is the final thing in the while the loss of the war, so before surrendering to this slavery, they should fight for liberty and justice. So it is a very confident thing, in which you should focus on their duty in order to fight for the liberty and justice. So all these things are very important for in the while we focusing on the mindset of the soldiers during during that World War II. So the strength of democracy and the belief of the collective strength of the people, then he says about the soldiers to use their reason before blindly following the regime that dictates them, and also he reminds that they are not machines, they are the human beings who can love and have the power to think and act. And also at the end he instructs the soldiers in order to not to surrender to the slavery. Instead they should fight for liberty and justice. So these are the major instructions made by Chaplin in this final speech in this film. And following this instruction, he quotes from the 17th chapter of St. Luke from the Bible that the kingdom of God is within the man, and everyone has the capacity to create happiness and make his life peaceful and beautiful. So to get a peaceful mind and also a confident mind, he quotes from the 17th chapter of St. Luke from the Bible that the kingdom of God is within the man, and which means that everyone has the capacity to create happiness and make this life peaceful and beautiful. So this is also a form of motivation to the soldiers by Chaplin. And following that, therefore people should fight collectively for peace and justice, and he reminds the significance of democracy for creating a better world where everyone will have a future. Dictators, though they make promises of better world, in fact enslave the people. So he reminds the significance of this democracy in order to create a better world, and also he also focused on the to fight the collectively in order to get the peace and justice. And at the end he says that the dictators, though they make promises of better world, in fact enslave the people. So it is just a negative side of these dictators. They promises for the better world, but in fact they enslave the people. And the speech ends with the exhalation that in order to save the democracy that should unite, and they should all unite and fight for a world devoid of greed and hatred and devoid of barriers, and a world of reason where science and progress make human life better and happy. So with this note, the speech ends in a very good manner, in which he gives some hope of future, hope for the future, in which they should all unite and fight for a world devoid of greed and hatred. So greed and hatred, without the a world without greed and hatred, and also devoid of barriers, and a world of reason where the science and progresses make the human life better and happy. So this is just an hope for their future during that especially that time, especially the World War II. So this is regarding the outline to this speech, which is the speech delivered during the World War II by Charlie Chaplin, and this is taken from the film The Great Dictator. So this is for today. So we discussed the outline of this chapter. Before that, we discussed the major points, major details of Charlie Chaplin as a short form of his biography, and also we discussed the film, which is The Great Dictator, the major things of this film. So that's for today. So try to watch this speech, which is about 5 minutes, and it is available in the YouTube, and you can go through the link in the description of this video. So try to watch it, and it is very important to watch this speech, and it will be easy to follow this chapter in the next class. So in the next class we will be focused on the chapter itself, which is the final speech in the movie The Great Dictator, which is the form of the speech in a very narrative manner from the page number 66 to 68 in the textbook. So try to watch this video first and then prepare for the next class. So that's for today. Today we discussed only just an introduction to this chapter, and in the next class we will be beginning this chapter in a very systematic manner. So thank you. Happy learning.